Hey students, welcome to another Mr. Ness screencast. Today's aim is making the journey, and here are your objectives. Please pause the video, look these questions over, and get ready to copy some vocab terms and take some notes. In this video, you're going to look at some terms used to describe typical characteristics and experiences of migrants. And your first term is Ravenstein's Laws of Migration. This man, Ernst Ravenstein, was a German and English geographer, and he studied migrants in the 19th century and came up with a theory of common characteristics. So this is like a model. He called them laws, but they are predicting the common characteristics of migrants. Let's look at 4 of them. The first law is that most migrants move a short distance internally. So Ravenstein is saying that most migrants actually don't cross borders and they don't move far. You can connect this to the gravity model because people tend to be more familiar with places close to them. They know people, they speak the language, they are comfortable with the culture in nearby places. So it makes sense that they would first try to move closer rather than farther. The second law is that most migrants come from rural areas. The third law is that most migrants who do move long distances, remember we said most do not, but most migrants who do move long distances tend to go to cities. And the fourth law is that the typical migrant is a single man in his young working age years. Of course, not all migrants are single young men, but Ravenstein says that they often are. Now let's look at step migration. This means that the migrant's journey occurs in stages. Migrants may stay for a long time in one place along their journey, perhaps to earn money that will fund the rest of their trip. And step migration is common because the journey that migrants make is rarely direct. They often make stops along the way. The next term is chain migration. It refers to the tendency of migrants from one place to follow each other to the same new place. And this happens because if one person migrates to a place that they like, he or she will send word to friends or family that they should come too. An effect of chain migration is the formation of ethnic enclaves. These are neighborhoods of cities that have high concentrations of immigrants from the same country. 2 of the more famous examples in New York City are Chinatown and Little Italy, but any neighborhood that you can think of that has a strong presence of a certain culture is probably an ethnic enclave. They result from chain migration because when migrants from the same country follow each other to the same place and settle in the same neighborhood, you get an ethnic enclave. Remittances are money that immigrants earn in their destination country but send back to friends and family in their home country. You've probably seen shops that handle remittances around New York City even if you weren't aware of them. They often say money transfer. I'm going to switch screens and show you a few that I found. So here's a block on Coney Island Avenue in Kensington, Brooklyn, and it has at least 3 money transfer remittance shops on it. Here's Western Union, and you can see it says, maybe you can't see this, but it says, I think it says send and receive money, and then just next to it, there we go, send, receive money. Next to it we have the global money transfer. And a little far, let's see, across the street, we have the Travel Home International Money Transfer. And at this pharmacy, we also see money transfer. So there's at least 4 on this block. If you look out for these, you'll start seeing them everywhere. All right, last thing for today is intervening obstacle, and this means any factor that makes migration more difficult. There are a lot of different examples of intervening obstacles, and we can categorize them as either socio-political, economic, or environmental. Let's look at the socio-political one, which is by far the most important obstacle that migrants encounter, and that is countries having closed immigration policies. That means that migrants must deal with laws in other countries that make it hard for them to cross borders. They can be detained or deported. An economic intervening obstacle would be money needed to pay people along the way. Could it be smugglers or could be immigration lawyers? Money also might be needed for transportation, like for a plane or a bus ticket. And an environmental intervening obstacle would be difficult terrain to cross, like a desert or an ocean. All right, it's time to review the objectives. If you don't know the answer to any of them, just rewind the video and look again. I will see you in class. Bye, students.